It feels like a week since I was working on this, but it's only Wednesday and it's Friday, the last video update. So this is a new battery from a little Kia Piccanto, which has got as much oomph as an MG Midget, but obviously a lot smaller, a lot lighter. So that's a big benefit for passenger foot space. So this is me just thinking how to hold it in. Usually there's something that presses down on the foot. It's a little bit of angle on like that. The other idea is having something like World War II Jeep with sort of a canvas strap round and a buckle or leather belt, but that's conventional for a modern car. That'll do. Paint arrived, so it's oil-based, slow drying, but gives a nice gloss, hard-wearing oil and fuel-resistant, formulated for traction engines. This colour is a match for a particular Colchester lathe, and it's very, very close to the willow green. So delighted with that and looking forward to getting some paint on. The frame looks tiny just in the corner of the garage. It just looks like a shoe shelf or something, which makes me realise just how tiny an Austin 7 is. You kind of have the back half of the car, the front half of the car and the boot, bolt them together, put the wheels on. So what to make the battery tray from? I had some 25mm, 3mm thick angle iron, which I picked up from the offcuts, which turned out to be very expensive. And it's because it's ground and very precise. Couldn't bring myself to use that, saving that for better. This is the cheaper stuff, much, much cheaper. So the surface finish is a lot worse. I put it on that frame and it just looked wrong, looked way too chunky compared with things like the gearbox mounts. Had some of this left over, which was from B&Q, and that looked the right sort of stuff. But I couldn't bring myself to pay B&Q prices. So I thought, how hard can it be to make my own angle iron? So that's what I've been experimenting with, which means I can choose exactly how high, how wide, and all the rest of it. So I cleaned up what was quite a rusty sheet, not with a wire brush and not with the angle grinder, but just with a random orbit sander I use for woodworking. Cutting a strip I did with my magic scissors, which is a drill fitment. They work really nicely. I tried following a guide, but it's much easier to freehand. Put much finer blade in the bandsaw because the coarse blade, thin bits would just vibrate around. It was quite scary. I need to have a much, much smaller hole around there, and I've got a plate I slide in to do that. Other experiments have been bending. So that's a plumber's bender for 22 and 50mm pipes. It's got to be the exact size of these formers or it doesn't work. Or just nice, soft, easy to bend strip. Also been experimenting with this homemade ring roller. So that goes backwards and forwards in there, clamped down, and the top wheel forces it down onto the bottom wheel, and then starts to put a really gradual curve in. This material is completely unsuitable for this; it just gets crushed. But I got quite a pleasing shape out of the strip steel. Doing it with thicker tube, is another challenge again. And to make the angle iron, I've been using this bender, which came to me for free. I have made these T-handles. They need to be much taller so they don't foul that coming up. Also, although it looks quite chunky, even bending stuff that's as flimsy as this, that's kind of 0.9mm, it does distort a bit as it comes up. So that's definitely got its limits.